to you. I'm Mel Alvin. I'm the host and the founder of the Jazz Confusion Power Hour. So this week we're honored to have a wonderful vocalist, a versatile singer, songwriter, producer, and actress hailing from Detroit, Michigan. And despite her impressive musical lineage as the daughter of Motown legend Johnny Griffith of the Funk Brothers, she has forged a remarkable career of her own, having honed her talents as a background singer and been worked with Anita Baker and worked with KEM and been on global tours with them. And then not long ago, she decided to take the bold step and go into the spotlight as a solo artist. This leap of faith led her to NBC's The Voice in season 16, that's in 2019, which was mentored by musical icons Kelly Clarkson and John Legend. So we're really pleased to have a special guest tonight. So please, everybody, welcome to this our Power Hour, Beth. Hey, how are you, dear?
Hi, I'm great, Mel. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. It's always a pleasure telling everybody about your accomplishments because you're a triple threat. You're a background vocalist, you're a lead vocalist, and you do theater and TV, and you have another career there too. So, it's not typical for us to have someone who's three-dimensional like that on our show. So,
Thank
I'm really
you.
so glad to make it back on. This is your second visit to the Power
hmm
Hour,
It is.
and yeah, so I like to start off, each week, when I have the guest, tell everybody what's cooking. What are you up to? What are you doing recently? What upcoming releases do you have, or concerts? So, why don't you fill everybody in?
Well, you said what's cooking. So literally what's cooking in my kitchen right now. I have a pot of spaghetti on the stove. But it also in my life because that's actually a part of my life. I'm a wife as well. So I gotta cook dinner. But right now, musically, we are pushing a single called Ooh. And it's off of my most recent album that was in excuse me, that was released in September 2022. Love that album, really proud of that project. And it was just we just got it Grammy considered for that
Wow.
single. And we're really proud of that. And also off of that album, Let Me Be, which was the lead single, we got that Grammy considered as well as the music video for that. So they just did the Grammy considerations. It just ended like last
Right.
week. So those two songs plus one of the videos for Let Me Be was Grammy considered. So we're really proud of that. I've still been on the road with Kim, and I've just been fitting some shows in around his shows that I do with him being background. And I'm enjoying the process of growing into the lead singing, even though I'm releasing music as a solo artist. There's still a process in getting where you really want to go. And I'm in a great place because I'm working with an artist where when I started with him, he wasn't as big as he is now. So I've been able to watch him grow and learn from him growing. And in that, I'm taking notes and I'm growing myself. And we have gotten to the point where there are some of Kim's shows that I actually open for him on his show now.
Wow. You may know somebody who's on my show I've become friends with. Jason Morales?
No, but I've heard the name.
Jason does backgrounds for John Legend. He's done them also, I think, for
Mm,
Anita Baker too, and
okay.
he's done them for everybody, and he's yeah, and he's been on the Grammys. You both have had parallel careers because he's been on TV, in movies, in film. He does backgrounds, and now he's doing solos.
Yeah.
I need to introduce you to each other.
I would love to meet him. I love to meet people who, we're kind of on that same road, you know.
Yeah,
And there's truly a process I think people don't understand. They feel like if they put a record out and then they get on social media, it's going to blow up overnight, and that doesn't happen. There's so much work, there's so much preparation, there's so much behind the scenes that has to be done, and there's so much learning that I think just because you can sing doesn't mean that there's a million people that have amazing voices and they're at home. It's the people that do the work and go through the process. So, I consider myself still going through the process. and learning and being able to navigate. One of the things that's hard to do is to open a show for an artist and have your solo hat on, and then I've got to go change and then go be a background singer. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah,
but I love it.
we're gonna explore that a little bit because I want people to to really get a good feel for what goes on behind the mind. What is it like to move from the back to the front and go to the back, and
Yeah.
you hit it on the head too. It's not just there are plenty of great voices out there. I mean, I can't tell you all the great voices I've heard in Grand Central Station when I put a dollar into their
Right.
kitty, and they have incredible voices. But they're
Yes.
still in Grand Central Station. So, the question is, how do you break out from the back to the front, and how do you break into the back? So, we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight.
Right.
So,
Because you have to break into the back too.
exactly, and let's start off. Let's start off with that. Okay, what is it? Is it training? Okay, first, how did you become a background singer? I'm sure that you, like a lot of other vocalists, always dream about being up front. But one of the things I've always reveled in is the fact that background singers often make the song. I mean, they're often as important, if not more important, than the lead vocalist.
Yes.
So how do you prepare for that? What kind of training do you go through? Why don't you tell everybody a little about
Well,
that?
believe it or not, Mel, all I wanted to do was to be a background singer. Being a lead singer was never really something that I aspired to do. I was happy being a background singer. I felt like if I made it to be a background singer for an amazing artist, I was still on the stage, I was still under the lights, and still having a similar experience as the lead singer, but with less pressure. And it just so happened that I was mentored and kind of pushed and coerced, like, you should really kind of just try, to be a lead singer. So, I took advice of some great mentors that I have and end up putting a solo album out and trying it. But to just be a background singer, I think my main piece of advice that I would give somebody if you want to be a good background singer is you have to know how to um, follow and take instructions because it's not your show. And a lot of times the background singers sing better than the lead singer, but that's not your time to outshine the person who's in front. You are there to support them and to be a support system, a support vocalist for them. And you need to know how to be able to work well with others because 9 times out of 10, you're singing with other people. You have to know how to blend, do harmonies. You have to have a good ear. You have to be able to take direction. You have to be a team player. You have to know that it's not about you. All of those things I think are huge factors in being a background singer because you are, in essence, a support for that lead person.
Yeah.
And if you can't follow directions, if you can't blend, if you can't be okay with standing in the back and knowing it's not about you, you don't need to be a background singer, but you have to know the importance of the background singer. A song without background sometimes is something, there's something missing, and the background is like the meat sometimes. It just adds such the seasoning and it's so good.
Well, that saying, "Don't bore us, get to the chorus," and that's where the background singers really shine very often.
Yes, we
Yeah,
tell a story, and I
yeah,
have been having the time of my life being able to be background singer for some great people and learning as I go along the way, having no idea that I would be juggling both now, being background and a solo artist at the same time. So the techniques that I use for background, I often use for doing solo work as well. Just the control of the voice and being able to listen and know how to um, finesse a phrase or phrasing and how to sing the song. So those are things that I think go hand in hand. But every singer that sings solo can't do background, and everybody that does background can't sing lead.
exactly. Well, I was
So
going to ask
that's
you
another
about that.
thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. When you go from the back to the front and then the front to the back, how do you change gears? I mean, you don't ever find yourself when you after you've done that singing leads when you're in the background. You haven't experienced that. You just can switch gears like that.
I have, well, it's I guess because I just know what the job is that day, you know, and I feel like it does take a lot of control, because once you have been vibrant and full of life up in the front, and then
Yeah.
you have to pull back all in the same hour, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But I love what I do so much, and I understand that being up front is truly a gift, but being a background singer is
Yeah.
truly a
Truly.
gift.
Yeah.
And I have two amazing gifts that I'm able to juggle, and I don't want to lose either one. So I just kind of get my mind together and put the hat on that I need to wear at that moment.
Well, then that brings me to the next thing, studio work. Do you ever you do your own backgrounds, or do you hire background singers when you record?
Both. It depends on the song. The producers that I work with, there are times where they say, you know what, I want another texture. I want another sound on this song. And they'll say, I don't want you to do the background for this. I say, okay. Or then there'll be songs where they say, I want you to sing your own backs. I say, okay. And the blessing is I can do whatever is necessary.
Do you pick the background singers? Do you choose them?
I don't, but I know
Okay.
them all. Like, no one ever comes in that I don't know. You know,
Okay.
it's somebody that is within the circle of singers that I work with.
Why don't you tell everybody some of the people you provided backgrounds for over the years?
Okay. My most favorite, and I would say, is Anita Baker. You know, that was my first background job that I actually
How
ever
did you
had.
get that one? How did you get that as your first job?
That, when I tell you, Mel, it, like, that was my first job. So Michael Powell, who started Chapter 8, was a friend and a
Right.
producer of hers, and he found me, and we were connected. And so I had gone to him and told him that I wanted to sing background, and like I told you before, that was all I ever wanted to do, was be a background singer. So I
That's
went to
great.
Mike. I said, Mike, I want to sing background, can I be a background singer? And so so and this is true, honest to God, he takes me to Aretha Franklin first. And Aretha Franklin, who worked with my father,
Yeah.
turned me down because she said she didn't want to take me on the road because I had never been on the road before.
Wow.
And she was like, yeah, I know your daddy, but you've never been on the road. And I don't want you being a first time out on the road, me being responsible, that being on me. And I was like, no, 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 Miss Franklin, I could do it. And she was like, yeah, no. And I was like, oh my God, I got turned down by Aretha Franklin. And so then Mike said, no, no, this is like true. Like,
Hey,
we're
look, if you're
standing
gonna
there.
get turned down, you might as well start at the top.
Listen, when people reject me for certain things, or people say stuff to me, I said, honey, I've been turned down by bigger and better people. So
That's great.
what you saying to me means nothing. Um, and that's honestly the truth. I was like, I've been thrown out of better places. But so then he goes, hold on, I'll take you to somebody else. And I remember asking him, I said, do you think Anita Baker, because I was trying to get with artists that were from Detroit, so I wouldn't have to travel, and I needed to be close to home. And he said, well, I said, do you think Anita Baker needs background singers? He's like, no, she already has singers. And I said, well, if anything ever happens, would you please call me? And he goes, nothing is going to happen because she keeps her singers. I said, I know, but if
If
something happens, please call me. He goes, yeah, right, fine, whatever. And I tell you, Mel, that happened. The phone rang one day, and he called me and he said, remember that time we had that conversation about if something happens? I said, yeah. He's like, something happened. And I was like, oh my God. And he was like, I'm going to take you to Anita and we'll see what happens. And he took me to her, and that started a 5-year relationship of touring and working with her, which changed my life. So from her, then I started working with KEM, and it was easy for me to work with KEM because KEM was like, if you work with Anita, I know you could sing. So you got the job. It was not even an audition. And then from me working with KEM, I've been able to work with greats like the OJs. I toured with them for 6 months last year, which was amazing. And my only regret is that Eddie Levert was ill during that time, and I never
yeah,
really got a chance to work with him. But I still got a chance to just get the energy from the crowd of working with the OJs, which was amazing. Najee, and that really wasn't background with Najee. He kind of brought me in as a solo artist and a featured artist. And yeah, those are like my favorites that I've ever worked with. I have done background recording for Yolanda Adams. I've never met her, but we
oh,
did something on her Christmas album. I think I did background on like 5 songs for her. I have yet to meet her. But it was a great experience having that on my resume. So those are some of the great people that I've actually got to work with recording. There's been some other things that have been maybe shows where they had a bunch of artists and they had like a pool of background singers to background for everybody. So I would say BB Winans, Kindred Family Soul, Boys to Men, stuff like that. It was like a big show, and I was one of like 6 background singers, and those people came on and we did their backgrounds for everybody that came on. But actually touring, those first artists that I mentioned, those are the ones I did hands-on, that I was actually hired by them to work with them.
Yeah, that brings me to another question. Well, now you're talking about doing gospel, you're talking about doing R&B, you're talking about, when you talk about boys to men, you're talking about pop. What's your genre?
My genre, I would say, is R&B. If I have to pick overall, it is R&B. I would not classify myself as a pop singer, although I like pop. I would not classify myself as a gospel singer, although I like gospel. If someone were to ask me to sing gospel, I would do it. But as to putting music out, picking a category, I would definitely say R&B is mine.
Yeah, I've listened to so much of your music. I would agree with you, but you do cross over. I mean, you even did something with Mason. Am I right?
With who did you say?
Mason.
Mason. Mason.
Yeah, I thought. I mean, maybe did you do something with Dave Mason?
Oh, Dave Mason.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay. Yes, I did that. Oh my God, I did that years ago.
yeah.
Yes, that was
I remember better than you.
yeah, you do. And I'm like, Mason, who? Dave Mason.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, yes, when I did that recording with Dave Mason, I was in a place where I just wanted to sing, and I would sing with anybody and everybody who would call me. And every experience that I had, I felt that that was an experience that would mold me and nurture me into where I would ultimately end up. So at the end of the day, if an artist calls me and they have a great song and they want me to sing on it, I wouldn't say, well, I'm not doing that because it's that. No, I'll sing on it. Dave, the song that we did, How Do I Get to Heaven? Yeah, it was a beautiful song. And I was honored to sing with him. I mean, he's a legend. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, I know how you feel about things like that. I had Annie Lennox on my show,
Oh,
and yeah, and she has got she she has an amazing voice, and she does dirges, from Scotland. I mean, it's her range is really amazing. So yeah, I know
mhm.
when you're working with Dave Mason, you're working with somebody who's done it all pretty much.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just that little thing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. Well, which does anything stand out in your mind? Any one stage performance that you've done as a background singer that stands out in your mind as being pivotal in terms of your career development?
I think doing The Voice did it, because
Okay.
that was such a vulnerable place that I was in. That was because you're being judged. And even though, let's say I do a performance and I'm booked to do a performance, that's one thing. But when you're standing up there being judged, even though you're being judged when you're booked for something,
Yeah.
that was different because I was standing in front of my country, and I was standing in front of artists who are where I would ultimately love to be. EGOT winners and people who have won multiple Grammys and awards, and they have talk shows and television shows and all of those wonderful things. And they were actually critiquing my voice, not looking at me, but listening to me. So that meant everything. They were just listening to my voice.
Yeah.
So that meant everything. And I think to do second, I would say, would be me when I opened for Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle, because I think the fact that I got the phone call to do it, and the fact that they put me on the billing and the flyer, because a lot of times openers don't get all that.
Yeah.
You just get there on time, and then all of a sudden somebody comes out on the stage and you're like, who's that? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so and then they sing and they're like, oh, they were good. This was something where people saw that I was specifically and strategically placed on that billing with these iconic artists that have paved the way for American music and for Black music and for R&B. And so for me to have my name on that, I mean, that was just, I cried. I cried. That was a wrinkle in time for me. You know, I don't know if that'll ever happen again, but if it doesn't, it doesn't matter, because it happened and I got the proof, you know, that it happened, and it changed my life. You know, I feel like it made me feel like all of the work and the tears that I've cried and the doors that I've knocked on that have been closed or slammed in my face or unopened or unanswered, you know, it wasn't all in vain.
Yeah, well, you know, you proved the point. You know, when one door is closed, another one opens, and you know, it's just part of life. And you know, you have to be big enough to stand up to it and move through it when it opens to you again. Let's play one of your songs, okay?
Okay. Okay.
I want people to really hear how wonderful your voice is as a solo artist. So let's play. I'm going to play "Free." Is that okay with you?
Absolutely perfect. That's from my first album and one of my favorite songs. Thank you.
Tell us about it. Before I play it, tell us a little bit about it and how that song come about.
Actually, that song just kind of organically happened. I was in the studio, and the producer, Cordell Walton, he happens to be Charlie Wilson, the legendary Charlie Wilson. He's his music director. And he was playing it on the piano, playing some chords, and I loved it. And I was inspired to write that song about my mom. Actually, my mom was going through some things that were really troubling her. And I just wanted her to be free of the trouble that she was, and the conflict. And the song is lightly inspired by her and me as well, but really started out with me being inspired by my mom and some of the things she was going through.
Was this your first release as a single?
No, actually, we never released "Free" as a single. That was just on the first album. We probably should have.
Yeah, you should.
But and all hope is not lost. I mean, you know, go back and re-release stuff all the time. But that was off the first album, and I didn't know what I was doing, you know. To go back in hindsight, I would have done some things different, but we never released it as a single. But that's a favorite off of that album.
Yeah, you know, that's one of the things, you know, when I have guests on. I remember I was talking with Brian Culbertson, and Brian was telling me that there were so many songs he wants to go back and he wished he never put out that way. And that's what makes an artist great, because it's the self-critique, it's the realization nothing's ever perfect. You're always a work in progress, you know, and that's what makes you great. So let's play "Free" for everybody, okay? And then we'll come back and we'll talk some more.
Okay.
I'm trying to locate it here.
Okay.
I think I have it. All right. Is that it?
Yeah, no, that was
Ooh. That was Ooh, okay. Oh, okay. For some reason the titles aren't clear. Let me try this one. Tell me if I got it right.
Okay. No, that's Let Me Be. No, that's Let Me Be.
Well,
so
that'll be it.
Every day I look in the mirror looking back at me. I say a girl so full of life, she just wants up on me. Learn how to guide my heart, love and still think smart, 'cause hurt you can't foresee. Now I know that I'll go on and be okay. All these memories, part of my history. I can't be stuck in yesterday. I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Oh, let it go and be free. I know some things, now it's gonna change. No more crying days of today. I'm letting it go, don't wanna hold on no more. I'm free. I'm captured no more. I want my dreams that were stolen and washed away, but never showed up on this show. I'm breaking the bondage that was built here. I'm moving on. Create a new life and show the world a new me, a stronger me. Heard your time expired a long time ago. It's time for me to walk away. Oh, I am free. No more suffering, no more bad memories. From this point on, it's part of my history. I am I gotta be free, wanna be free, yeah,
That is so beautiful. It's a
Thank
beautiful
you.
song. You
Thank
have
you
a
so much.
fan, Heather Henderson.
Hi, Heather. Thank you very much. I saw that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Here's another comment from her.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that's such a beautiful song, and
Thank you.
when you told everybody that you wrote the song because it was inspired by your mother's issues at the
Mhm.
time, that makes it very personal. I think that's what comes through in the music too. The
Yeah.
orchestration is really excellent, by the way, too.
Thank you. Cordell did a great job,
Yeah.
and he's so talented, and he just kind of played it, and I was just like, oh, I love this. So yeah.
Let's shift since we're playing now your own music. We were talking about you as a background vocalist.
hmm
Tell me when you decided, after being a background vocalist for so long, when did you decide to become a solo vocalist? And was it a hard decision?
So this is the truth, Mel. I realized that when you're a background singer and the artist you work for goes on break with all of their money, then you're left with no money and you're not working. So I was like, this is not adding up. so I so I was like, let me find something else. So it was a matter of how can I sustain myself in what I love to do. I love singing, and like I said, I had been kind of mentored. Um, Mike Powell kept telling me he wanted me to be a solo artist, and I kept telling Mike, like, that's not my thing, Mike. I'm good, with background. And he was like, I'm telling you, I think you can do it. He said, it's going to be hard. It's going to take you, a little time. It's going to be an uphill climb, but I think you can do it if you really stick to it. And I took his advice, and that's how the album Free came about, and then the song Free. So And then that's why I have on that album too, the remake of I Just Want to Be Your Girl that Chapter 8 did with Anita Baker singing on that album, because that was a gift to me from Mike Powell. He took me in the studio and he says, I believe in you so much that I'm going to take you in the studio and have you record one of my biggest hits that I did with Anita. Like, I want you to sing it. And he took me in, he coached me. Like, that was a gift from him. And that was like him saying, I believe in you that much. I want you to do it. And I was like, you've lost your mind, but I'll go.
Well,
first of all, because I don't,
yeah,
I didn't want to sing it.
Well, you had a great forerunner, Lisa Fisher.
Oh my God, she's incredible.
Yeah, how many years did she sing with the Stones, and how many years did it take her to finally come out front? And when she came out front, she won Grammys.
Yeah, it's a process, because it's not just that you have good music or you have great music or a great team. You got to be ready for it up here, because it's a whole process in your mind. You feel defeated so many times, and then there's wins that come, and then there's more defeat, and I don't even want to say defeat. It's just that you want it to happen faster than it happens. You really just have to be in for the long haul and really believe in yourself. So, that's that. It just, I love it. I love it though. I actually love it.
Yeah. I mentioned to you earlier, someone else I had on the show, Jason Morales, who's been kind of your counterpart as a male. And he's been doing vocals with great, great artists for years. And he made that move to come out front. And, it takes time. And because you've been so successful as a background singer, it doesn't necessarily translate immediately into success as a vocalist. And you gotta stick with it. If you have the pipes, and you definitely have them,
Thank you.
It's just gonna take some time to really make it all work. A couple other things I'd like to talk to you about. When you decided to become a solo artist, how would you find time with your busy background vocalist touring and recording? I mean, how do you make this all work?
You juggle it, so what happens is the artist that you work with is going to give you a schedule, and then you work around the schedule. But at the same time, once I became committed to my career, then I had a talk with the artist that I work with and said, hey, this is what I'm pursuing. I want to stay with you, but I'm pursuing my own solo career. Give me your calendar, and we try to work around it. And if there are things that come up that, that Beth is booked for, he understands. And then we'll get a sub to come in and fill in for me, but, and he's very supportive. Kim is very supportive, because he's the main artist that I work with now. And like I said, he's supporting me to the point where, I'm opening some of his shows now. So it's just been a point of just juggling the calendar, getting the calendar far enough in advance, and just hoping things work out. Even like the show with Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle, like literally the tour that I was on with him ended the day before the Mother's Day show. Like, it ended Saturday. I flew in home on a 7 a.m. flight and did my show the very next day. Wow. And it just happened to work out like that. So things that you're meant to do, things that are meant to happen, they kind of just happen like that.
Well, part of your transition, from background vocalist to solo artist, I know that you were part of the historic tribute to Motown at Carnegie Hall. Why don't you tell everybody about that experience?
Oh, wow. That was the one where I did the backgrounds for Kendra Family Soul. Anita Baker was on that show. BB Winans was on that show. Boyz II Men was on that show. Melba Moore was on that show. It was led by the great Ray Chu. And I met Ray because he MD'd for Anita for a couple years. And I got a chance to meet him, know him and his wife, the beautiful Vivian Chu, and they got a chance to know me and my work ethic. And so they called me in to do that show. And it was great. I was honored. I mean, first of all, Carnegie Hall, like.
Exactly. So, I wanted you to talk about that. What was that like for you? That's why I brought it up.
You're in there and you're looking around and you're just like, I'm at Carnegie Hall. Like, how did this happen, right? And it's just great. There's been some amazing things that I've done in my life that I just don't even know if I even knew how big they were when I did them. I was amazed I was amazed. And I think the thing that stands out to me most was that was the year that Whitney Houston passed. So we were in New York, we did the show, I went home, and the day that I got home, which was the next day or two, I think, that's when she passed away. And she was in LA at the Grammys. So it was Grammy week that happened, and that was the week that I was at Carnegie Hall with Ray. So that I'll never forget that time, because that was just like horrible. But at the same time, you're celebrating that you're in this iconic place singing. And not only did I do background on that show, I was able to do like a Supremes medley with Melba Moore. So that, and I got the chance to lead a song. So that was like, oh my God. So I'm still, you know, like I said, some things have happened that have been so big and so great. And I'm just like, oh my God, that really happened. I was there. It's like I was dream walking almost.
That's why I brought up Carnegie Hall, because not only were you appearing with great artists, but the appear at Carnegie Hall, it must have been revelatory for you in terms of who you are. It must have been really critical. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking.
To be honest with you, Mel, I think I'm still figuring out who I am, you know, because I had been, you know, when your background, that's where your mind is the background singing. And it had nothing to do with my dad, my lineage, none of that. It was just that I'm pursuing my singing, and that's what I'm focused on. So I'm not thinking about, you know, all of that stuff, because some your lineage can sometimes help you and sometimes not. And there's been times where it hasn't mattered.
Sure.
I had to get where I'm going just because I needed to sing right and get the job. You know, so I was just happy that Ray thought enough about me and trusted me to call me, and that led to him calling me a couple years later to do Dancing with the Stars. So I really appreciate Ray
get to that
for giving me these opportunities that have just filled my resume with people going, oh my God, you did this. Oh my God, you did this. And those times that I did that, though, I wasn't in a solo singer mindset. So it didn't hit me the way it would hit me now if somebody says, hey, I want you to come sing at Carnegie Hall. I'd be like, oh, and at the time I was like, oh wow, Carnegie Hall, that's cool. That's a cool gig. You know, so it didn't translate the same way. And I'm actually thinking about it now that you're telling me. It just didn't translate the same way because I wasn't in the same mindset.
Yeah. But you know, think about this too. Even all the great lead vocalists that you've worked with, how many of them actually ever in Carnegie Hall?
Right.
So, you know, that's why I'm saying at some level, subliminally, it has to have had a big impact that I can sing here. I can do this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it's wonderful when you have those kinds of milestones. So,
I do too. And I'm so grateful. And a lot of times I sit around and reflect on the things that I've done. And I'm like, was I even ready for some of the stuff that I did then? I'm like, let them come now, because I feel like I'm ready now. But things happen when they're supposed to happen.
right, yeah,
and sometimes you need to reflect on the things that you've done so that you know that you are enough, that you are good enough, you know, so.
Yeah. You know, being good enough also for any artist is always relative based on yesterday and tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's never complete. And, there hasn't been a great artist I've had on this show who haven't had moments of doubt, you know, and because no matter how good you are, you know, you could be better. So,
all the time.
Yeah,
We're always critical of ourselves. I'm like, why did I sing it that way? Why did I walk in that way? Why did I wear that outfit? It's all of that.
Yeah, men don't have to deal with the outfit deal.
Oh no, I'm just so overboard with the outfits in the wardrobe. But you know, that's me.
Let me ask you a more abstract question. If you could collaborate with anyone from any period of time, anywhere in the world, whether it's a songwriter, a vocalist, a musician, who would that be? Who would that one person be from any period?
Oh, just one?
Just one. Okay, your top two.
I've got a couple, Mel.
Okay.
I do. So let me, if I may, please. So my ultimate favorite singer is Whitney Houston. I would love to do something with her. Okay. She's my favorite. But there's some other greats that are no longer here that I would have loved to have sang with. Frank Sinatra.
I was thinking you were going to say Frank Sinatra. Honest.
Frank Sinatra. I would love to. Oh my God, James Brown.
Yeah.
Luther.
No. Yeah.
And then
Barry White. Is he in there somewhere?
No, but Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye. Okay. All
and
right.
so those are my people, and it's somebody else. But those I like them because their voices were so distinctive. Frank Sinatra, he starts singing, you know it's him. Yeah. James Brown, he starts singing, you know it's him.
You know it's him. Yeah.
Luther starts singing, you know it's him.
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye starts singing, you know it's him.
No, yeah,
and then Whitney. So they have these tones in their voices that you could blindfold me, stand me on my head, and and I know it was them. And those are the people that if I could, I would have loved to have had the opportunity to sing with them because their voices were so distinctive. You just knew it was them.
I want to just go back to Frank Sinatra for a reason. Arthur Fiedler, who was the conductor for the Boston Pop Symphony Orchestra, he said there are two people that had perfect pitch and that the musicians tuned their instruments to their voice. One was Frank Sinatra, and the other was Linda. He said Linda Ronstadt. She was the other one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, she had perfect pitch, he said, and they would tune their instruments to their voice.
Wow.
I mean, so when you pick Frank Sinatra, it wasn't just his style, but his voice, especially when he was younger, was so pure. And Luther was that way. Luther was that way completely. And everybody you mentioned, Whitney, you picked some really good ones because they have pure voices, just so pure, and that's what really makes them so exceptional. Yeah. So let's play another one of your songs, okay?
Okay.
And then let's talk about your theatrical career and on The Voice, and we'll talk about a little bit more about these other experiences, okay?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna hit play, and I think I got it right this time.
Okay.
So I'm gonna play "Let Me Be." How's that?
Okay. All right.
Okay. And you can tell us about the song afterwards.
Okay.
Carry so much on your shoulder. It's time to show you what a real love is. Forget the past, baby, let's move forward. I can give you what you're missing, push you toward your vision. I just wanna be a team, that's just who I am. Gotta show you what I mean. Won't you come with me? Come on and let's get away. Let's get away for the day. Don't you hesitate to say what you wanna do. When you do the one to take a load on, the one you wanna show off, you just let me, baby, baby, won't you let me? I'll be all that you need. Baby, just let me be. There's nobody that can give it to you like I do, and I can prove that to you. I just wanna pamper you. Yes, I do. It's all about you. My priority is to be a dream come true. So anytime you need that, I'll do it just for you. Baby, it's all about you. So boy, won't you come with me? Come on and let's get away. Let's get away for the day. And don't you hesitate to say what you wanna do. Baby, won't you let me be? When you do the one to take a load, I wanna, you just let me. Baby, if you let
One, it's such a great song. By the way,
Thank you.
who does your videos? They're really very good.
Thank you. The first video, um, I can't, the guy's name is, I'm drawing a blank, so forgive me. His name is Michael, and I just ran into him at a restaurant the other day. So he did that free video. He did a great job. And the person that's been doing my videos lately, actually my producer, he shoots videos as well. So he did that, Let Me Be video. And then the one that you're gonna see next, my son actually filmed it.
Really?
Yes.
All right. I'm looking forward to seeing that one. I've
Yes.
yeah. You have a comment from somebody I think you know.
Yes.
Tell everybody who Ron is.
Ron is my right hand. Ron, I would say that Ron is my right hand. That's what I'm gonna call him for right now. He does everything. So he's my right hand. So thank you, Ron.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's nice that everybody's coming out to talk with you and give you compliments on your music because it's well deserved.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Let's talk briefly about The Voice.
Okay.
And one of the things I always loved about that show as compared to the others is that, and you mentioned this to me, when you do on The Voice, the judges aren't facing you; they're listening to you, and it's pure voice. That's why it's called The Voice. and I think it's important because in
excuse me.
it's okay, age, gender, sex, none of that comes into play. It's how well do you sing? And how does it strike them? How do you interpret a song? So why don't you tell us about, I know you had Kelly Clarkson and John Legend as coaches. So why don't you tell everybody about your experience, how it happened?
Well, you know what? One thing I'll say to wrap it up in a nutshell, it's a roller coaster of emotion, of music, of learning, of growing, of stretching, of being developed. It's just a big ball of that. And you have to catch it as you're going through. And if you catch it and if you're a sponge when you go through, you will learn lessons that will impact your career and help you for the rest of your career. I learned a lot from Kelly. I learned a lot from John. I learned a lot just being on the set of that show, being able to see how things move and work in Hollywood, the lights, camera, the action, the hair, the wardrobe, the makeup, all of that stuff. And those are things that I think every artist dreams of being able to experience. And I feel like when you get in that element, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it because it's a lot. There's long days. There's a little bit of sleep, but there's a lot of work. And that's what it actually takes to be successful in this career. So I got in that environment. I fell in love with it even more. And the one thing I take away with it is that if I did it once, I can do it again. But the second time I'll do it. And actually, that was not the first time I've been in that environment. Dancing with the Stars was the first time I'd been in that environment. And it was so overwhelming to me the first time, the early mornings and the long days and the cameras and the rehearsing. So when I did The Voice, even though it was a different show, I had been exposed to that before. And I know I'll be exposed to something like that again. And when I get there again, whatever that may be, it will be even more familiar to me. But that's a life, that's a job, that's a thing that I don't think all of the contestants were prepared for. I mean, it's a whirlwind, and you just have to be able to be a sponge. Get what you can get, and then you're out of there, obviously. Yeah. So get what you can get and get going. And I took the knowledge with me and I apply it every time I hit the stage.
Well, let's talk about Dancing with the Stars for a second. How'd you get that gig? How'd that start?
Actually from Ray Chu. So Ray was the MD and he still is the MD. And he had, it was Icon Night season 22. And this was, I think, back in 2016. This was a while ago. He needed some extra singers and he had worked with me with Anita. So he knew I could sing Whitney's music. And I had to sing a Whitney song and an Aretha Franklin song. And I just thank Ray for trusting me in doing that and putting me there. That was my first official television job that landed me being SAG eligible. and I'm still in SAG today. So I'm grateful to him for that.
So which came first? Was Carnegie Hall first, or was Dancing with the Stars first with Chew?
Uh, Carnegie Hall came first because
That's what I
that was
thought.
like 2012.
Yeah.
And then Dancing with the Stars came about 2016. Yes.
And 2019 was The
The
Voice.
Voice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
So I had enough recuperation time between each one.
I'm just curious, what when you got introduced to Kelly Clarkson and to John Legend, what were you thinking?
Oh my God, how did I get here? And this is crazy. And what is happening? And I can't believe I agreed to this. And everybody's going to see me and I better not mess up. And like, it's just all this stuff in your head. And you're just like, oh my God, it's a whirlwind. Because these are people, I had watched Kelly Clarkson on American Idol. So then she's in my face telling me, and giving me critiques and coaching me, right? And then you get John Legend, and he's an EGOT winner, and he's just incredible. And you're standing there like, oh my God. But then not only that, you have Blake Shelton, who's this huge mega country star. You have these people that are just larger than life, and then they're talking to you like, hey, how you doing? You did good. And you're like, so yeah, it was great. It was great. That was a wrinkle, and I always call little things like that wrinkle. I don't mean to belittle it, say little things, but things like that in my life that have happened. They're wrinkles in time for me, and I try to go back and reflect on them sometimes, and just reflect on the experiences that I've had, and they all have molded and shaped me for being where I am right now. Like I wouldn't even be where I am and who I am now if I had not experienced that and seen what is obtainable for me. These things are obtainable for me. They're tangible for me. They're not just dreams for me because I've done them. So I'm not going to do them again. When is the question, and where is the question. I know how. You just keep going and you'll get there, right? So
that's it. That's it. You have to take those first steps, but you're not going to get to the end of the road,
Right,
So,
right.
yeah. I want to talk to you about something kind of briefly. Changes in the music industry. Now, you're still very young and you haven't had, a 30-year career, but you've been out
thank
there.
you.
But you've been out there enough, and beautiful. But you've been out there enough to have seen mega changes starting before the pandemic. We saw the movement from physical records, tapes, CDs to streaming. And we saw the change in how artists are paid, and we saw the intrusion of technology. Now, the actors' strike is really a lot about AI because the studio can create your image and actually create a movie with you without you being in the movie, and they own the image. So AI is starting to transform music. I mean, look, Paul McCartney just came out with a John Lennon song, and he also has George Harrison playing on it because they used AI to take segments from studio tapes and other things and to create a song using AI.
And we all know where John Lennon is.
That's right.
So,
and George Harrison too, and
right.
Yeah,
so it's like,
So I guess I'm asking you, where do you see yourself? How do you see your career? You have a team, and every artist who's successful has a team, but how do you navigate the changing nature, of music? It used to be radio, FM. Now FM's 30 stations a day are going out of business, it streaming. I talk to artists who say, I had 100,000 streams. And I said, well, great, you made $8. Congratulations.
right.
So how do you see your career in terms of monetization, in terms of performing, in terms of where you see this all heading?
Well, one thing I have to say is I feel like as an artist, I need to just be true to myself and what my music is and what I love. So if you do that, you can't lose, right? Because you're being yourself. Second, I feel like you have to do as many live performances as you possibly can. It's almost like it doesn't even matter if you hit celestial radio anymore. It does matter to the extent of sometimes promoters don't want to book you if you don't have something on the radio. So that's the bad part about not being on Celestial Radio, because that's something I run into. I'll meet promoters and they're like, well, do you have a record on radio? And I'm like, well, no, but I have a good record. Well, yeah, but is it on the radio? Can I, how many butts can you get in the seats? You know what I'm saying? That's their main objective. I feel like that can hurt the independent artist like me. But I also feel, again, if you continue to be true to yourself and you continue to still push, somebody will book you. You'll get booked, and you just have to sometimes grow your fan base organically and be true to yourself and utilize the platforms that you have, utilize social media the way that you can. Do as many interviews as you can. Like I'm talking to you today, and I'm talking to your fan base. And thank you for that, for sharing me with your fan base. That's how independent artists like me continue to grow. And I don't even worry about AI, even though I know that it's something real and I know that it's something coming. I can do nothing now but be true to myself and continue to put music out that I feel good about and that I feel that I can perform well. And when somebody books me, I try to do my best and sing to the audience and give them a good time and a good experience. And I think that will always win.
Well, I want you to know that you must have a lot of fans out there. We have 162,000 people listening in right now.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So apparently you have a very, very big fan base. And for those who didn't know you before, who had tuned in, who joined the Power Hour every week, I'm sure they're going to know you now. So it's just, you have more listeners than I've had in quite a few artists. So
oh wow, thank you so much, and thank you everybody for tuning in. I mean, sometimes it feels really daunting because you're putting music out and you don't know who's listening, you don't know where it's going. You're just hoping that it reaches somebody's ears and somebody likes it and they become a fan and they stick with you. So and actually, I'm going to be in the DC area. The end of December.
I wanted to show everybody this.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about your December 13th show.
Yeah. So that show actually was supposed to happen yesterday in Detroit at the Soundboard, the Motor City Casino theater, but our casino is on strike right now. So they postponed the show, and the show has been moved to December 13th. And so that's why it's happening there, because it actually was supposed to happen yesterday. Okay. So that's going to be a great show, December 13th. I'm going to be opening for Genuine at the Soundboard. That's a great venue. If you're in the Detroit metropolitan area, that's a great place, great stage, the lighting, it's just a great place. So I'll be there with my band. And my band actually, coincidentally, is the band that's going to play for Genuine as well. So my MD happens to MD for Genuine as well. So it was just a perfect fit to bring me in on that show. One band, two artists, would knock it right out.
Terrific. You said you're going to be in the DC area?
I will be in the DC area. If Ron is on, Ron, please put the date. I'm going to be, I will be with KEM, and we will be in that area. And I'm drawing a blank right now because I don't have the paper in front of me.
That's all right. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a hold of Ron. I want to get a press pass, and I'll feature your performance with KEM on the station when you perform live in DC.
Thank you. We'll talk to Ron, and we'll see what we can do for that. I can't even, when you get the dates, they're on a list, but I know we'll be there.
I get it. Okay, we're running out of time, so I want to play your last song of the night. Okay. And then I want you to just talk to the fans and people who are listening in for a few minutes. Okay. So now tell us about Ooh. That's the song we're going to play now. Why don't you tell everybody briefly about it?
I love that song. That song is just a song about feeling good, feeling good about love, and love that's so good you don't even have the words to describe how you feel. That person you love so much and they make you feel so good, you just go, ooh. And it's just an expression. And we kind of were playing around with the music one day in the studio. Marcus started playing the keys. My husband happened to call, and he was playing something on the keyboard. And I said, what are you playing over there? He goes, nothing. I'm just, doodling on the keyboard. I said, well, whatever you're playing, I love it. I said, save it. And then we got off the phone and we started writing to it. And I just kept hearing this, ooh, and here comes ooh. And it's just about love, and love that feels good.
Okay, let's play Ooh for everybody. Okay.
24/7, 365. You stay on my mind all the time, and I'm always wondering what if or what we could be. I smile at all the possibilities. Sorry I ran. I had so much fear because I've been hurt before. Now that I've let down my guard, I wanna be here. 'Cause you make me say ooh, ooh, ooh. And I can't speak. You got me saying ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm so weak. You got me saying ooh. For nothing, I'm satisfied with the way that you love me, how you provide everything that I need. I can't take it. I'm so mad about all the time I've wasted. Sorry I ran so long. I had so much fear, 'cause I've been hurt before. Now that I'm let down my guard, I wanna be here. 'Cause you make me say ooh, ooh, ooh. And I can't speak. You got me saying ooh, ooh. And I'm so weak. You got me saying ooh.
Your son did that video?
Mhm. Yeah.
Incredibly great.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Did he do this professionally?
He does.
He's really good. I mean,
Thank
that's excellent.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We
Well,
had to have a little talk before we filmed the video. I said, "Now listen, this is a little sexy video. Are you will get your mind?" And he's like, I can do it. I can do it. I promise I can do it." I said, "Okay." So I think he did a great job.
he
Yeah.
did. And I love the end of it when you're on
Yeah.
screen. I mean,
Yes.
that's very clever. Very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's good. I'm proud of him.
I don't blame you. Ryan, I'm sure he's proud of you too.
Yes, he is.
Ryan
Thank
put
you.
up you're the National Harbor. on December 28th.
Thank you, Ron.
Like you said, he's your right-hand man.
Yes, I know nothing. I just get up and I'm like, okay, where do I go? When do I sing? What time? So yeah, he thank you so much. Thank you, Ron.
Well, it's been wonderful, Beth, having you on. Is there
you.
anything you want people to take away about you as an artist and about the way in which you create music? Is there anything you'd like people to know about you before you leave?
Well, I just think I want people to know that I love music. I love what I do. I love to sing for people. If you see me at a show, please know that I'm happy to be there, happy to sing for you. I want to put a smile on your face. And yeah, just that much. I love what I do, and I feel truly blessed to be able to do what I do. And I'm just looking forward to the future so that I can meet and sing to more people.
Wonderful. Are you planning to put out any Christmas music or holiday music in the near future?
I have Christmas and holiday music already released. And I actually just had a conversation today about filming a video possibly before the end of the year. So I don't know, because I have, I think, 3 singles, Christmas singles out already.
But not this year.
Nothing new. The last one,
right.
Yeah, but I have something out. But I don't, if anything, it won't be a new song. It'll be a visual for what's already out, I think.
Yeah, with your voice, I thought it would be wonderful if you did a bunch of covers of, Christmas songs.
I've thought about that, Mel. Like, that's an idea, and I've thought about that. This year has been one where because when you work on Christmas music, you have to work on Christmas music not at Christmas time. You know that, right?
Right.
And the time that I would have been working on Christmas music, it just didn't my time didn't work out. But that's something I really want to do. I actually want to do a full Christmas project, and hopefully I'll get that done in the near future.
Well, I'd be looking. I would be the first one to go out and buy that. I think it would be phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and I want you to come back again after you win a Grammy, and
I received that. Thank you, Mel. I will. Yes, I will.
Yep. And it's wonderful that you're up for consideration and you got the nod. It's terrific, and it just says a lot about you, because it's very competitive.
Yes, it is.
Well, look, you have a wonderful holiday season, and I'm going to see you at the National Harbor. I'm going to have Ron get me a press pass, and I'll have your show on my show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, and thank you to everybody that tuned in and listened and watched. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Well, you have a great evening.
You too. Thank you.